brother down. With Shizzy, Wiz, Nut.
An open letter to the authors of the "You have 21 days to admit you meshed with the wrong morons" letter. Dear self-appointed guardians of the litigation playground, thank you, truly. Thank you for this legal equivalent of a toddler shaking a stick at a freight train. The sheer gall it takes to issue a 21-day opportunity for withdrawal after hurling your own lawsuit into the void like it was a gym towel in a flaming dumpster is remarkable. It is absolutely remarkable. This wasn't a warning. This was a tantrum in the citation form. The last-ditch "don't hit me back" plea disguised as lethal ethics sent from the same people who made "I never thought them" their entire litigation strategy. I mean, after I finally read your safe harbor letter, that heroic declaration where you clutch your pearls with one hand while holding a flamethrower behind your back, and I have just one question. Did you proofread this thing before or after the Adderall smoothie? Because there isn't a legal warning. This is a printed equivalent of running through a courtroom in a bathrobe shouting objection to a conversation you weren't invited to in the first place. Well, let's be real. The only reason the letter ever saw the light of day is because the flea was cackling over it during a freaking live stream, probably while gnawing through a pile of greasy chicken wings like she was mid-exorcism. The sauce-stained laughter between the teeth and the timestamps gave away more than any motion ever could. It was less a show of legal force and more like watching a raccoon discover a cease and desist in a trash can and trying to read it with barbecue fingers. Dramatic, yes, but also wildly self-incriminating. So let's review exactly what happened here. You all filed a lawsuit. A loud, clunkily, legally embarrassing one packed with conspiracy theories, false accusations, and recycled live stream drama. You weaponized it on social media before a single motion was heard. Then your targets decided to hit back with real lawyers, actual filings. You hit pause, threw on your victim cape, and fired off a preemptive 21-day warning to the guy you knew was about to bulldoze your fantasy narrative. A bit rich, don't you think? Especially considering the original complaint read less like a legal document, more like a passive-aggressive fanfic written during a manic episode. You had the nerve, the caffeine-fueled, cease-and-desist by moonlight nerve, to give Randall Shochet 21 days, and by the way, it is spelled Shochet with an H, you dumbasses, to reconsider participating in a lawsuit you and your client spent months openly begging for on live streams. The same lawsuit you wrapped in sparkly thumbnails, monetized with sob stories, and then never properly served because, plot twist, you apparently lost interest mid-performance. Sort of like somebody that's, maybe not that interested in you. And now, after lighting your own complaint on fire and hurling it over the wall like a pizza box full of bees, you expected the other side to tiptoe backward, apologize for catching it, pretending this all never happened. If you were so confident in your original lawsuit had merit, you wouldn't be here now writing hollow takebacks with a deadline like it's a timeshare offer. You're in your inbox sending bad faith warnings to lawyers who already read you like a dinner menu, full of greasy repeats and nothing fresh. And let's not forget that you, let me repeat this, let's not forget you were warned. You were told months ago that this will not end well. This is not how litigation works. You are not ready for what you are inviting in. But you didn't care. You didn't listen. we said, the goal was never resolution. It was retaliation. It wasn't about justice. It was about controlling the narrative with just enough tears and sympathy to land another fucking super chat. That weaponizing litigation as content would backfire on you. That dragging in everyone from journalists to content creators to spouses was a game that ends in sanctions, not subscribers. You didn't listen, you fucking morons. You thought filing a complaint, it was some power move. Nobody would respond. You thought you'd control the narrative, edit the highlights, exit stage left. Instead, you're stuck rewriting your lines while your opponents file amended complaints with more evidence, more plaintiffs, and more of your own contradictions staring back at you in 12-point font. Because when you filed your complaint loudly, you made a live stream after live stream talking about the evil YouTubers, the groomers, the conspiracies, the organized crime. You name dropped people who weren't even served and told on yourself in real time like a person live logging a bank robbery while demanding tips on Ko-Fi. And then, in what I can only describe as a majestic act of manic backpedaling, you voluntarily dismissed your own masterpiece. Just days before facing opposition, and now you send a safe harbor letter to him. This 20-day letter is not a show of strength. It's a paper shield, flimsy, transparent, and already soaked in your own precedent. You don't scare anyone with fake deadlines after you've already blown your credibility across 4 platforms and a failed lawsuit. At this point, the only thing you're withdrawing is your own complaint, and no amount of safe harbor letterhead is going to undo the very real damage you caused or the receipts that are about to be introduced into discovery. This wasn't some noble appeal to professional courtesy. This was a PR stunt with a law degree. A desperate attempt to reframe this optics just before the filings hit harder than your client's 4th contradictory live stream. You don't get to posture as the wounded party after months of coordinated misbehavior, targeted embarrassment, and lawfare. You don't get to demand silence after turning defamation into a fundraising model. You made this bed on camera with timestamps and probably quite a few filters on. So here's your counteroffer. You have 21 days to stop pretending that you're the aggrieved party. 21 days to pack up the persecution complex, delete the burner accounts, and get real about the consequences that you triggered. You aren't victims. You aren't silenced. You were loud, proud, and legally sloppy, and now the grown-ups are talking. You made the mess. Now you get to mop it up. Sincerely. Shizzy Wiznut, just a guy in Velcro's shoes who saw this train wreck coming from 300 miles away, and I packed snacks just for the show. Because you definitely needed a daddy.
It is about time. Let's break this mother down. With Shizzy, with